I believe Daddy Kevin is the term. What is up, Marvelous Musings? It's me, Nick, your host, back at it again with my three guests.
Hi, I'm Agraj.
Hi, I'm Addy.
Naranjan.
We're joining Nick here on an episode today of his podcast show. What did you call it? Marvelous Musings? Yeah, that.
Something like
Musings,
that.
yes. Yeah.
Musings, cool.
Pretty shit name too.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Today we're gonna be talking about Phase 5.
And 6.
Because that's a thing that's coming soon, apparently. According to Kevin Feige. Father Kevin.
I believe Daddy Kevin is the term.
So Phase 4 has been going on since 2020. It is nearing the end of 2022. So Phase 4 in total has been about 2 years long, shorter than all the other phases in terms of time span. But in terms of content itself, it's been larger. Now it's coming to an end with She-Hulk and soon Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But today's episode isn't about Phase 4. It's about some of the stuff that was talked about in SDCC. And some of the stuff that's going to be happening in Phase 5. And just to start that off, why not just have a little bit of a chat about the first movie of Phase 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I also hope that we just get a lot more of Paul Rudd just being Paul Rudd. Just a lot more of that from Quantumania.
Okay, considering he's the lead star of the movie, I think we'll get a lot of Paul Rudd.
So Ant-Man as a movie series, the first Ant-Man movie was really enjoyable. I remember it had the perfect balance of wit, comedy, pacing. It was well written. So it was a really enjoyable film. I remember the second one I found to be less so. What we know about this third one is that it's going to be so much bigger than just an isolated story about Ant-Man, like the last two have been. In the first movie, we see Ant-Man learning a bit about the quantum realm, and at the very end, he even goes into it for a bit. In the second one, we see them go in and save, what's her name? Jane, was it? Not Jane, no. Is it
Janet?
Janet. I'm thinking Jane because Thor. And in this third one, we're going to see him go in again, except this time, it's all centered around the quantum realm.
From the concept art, we're going to see obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp returning. Also joining them will be Stature, which is Cassie Lang, and we'll be seeing Kang make his big reveal. We will also see MODOK appearing into the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
For the time.
More than that, we've already seen a little bit about Kang so far. I'm sure everyone here remembers Loki, the season finale.
I definitely love the character of Kang, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him again, just appearing again and again, a bunch of different variants. But personally, I'm really looking forward to better explanation of the multiverse and sort of having Marvel kind of get their shit together a bit and tie everything together, because right now I feel like they haven't been coordinating very well. I'm not sure how multiversal it's going to be. It sort of depends, like if it all takes place in the quantum realm or if there will be a lot of multiversal travel too.
Considering it's called the Multiverse Saga, I think there's going to be a ton of the multiverse involved. Also, what you said about everything being less connected in Phase 4, Feige did reveal that Phase 4 was kind of like a reaction and the after effects of the blip and the snap and the blip happening and how it affected society and these different worlds and tribes like Wakanda and the rest of the planet, like She-Hulk and stuff like that, etc., etc. So I'm hoping like that's the reason why it's less connected. And in Phase 5 and 6, all the stories are going to be connected, more connected with each other as well. This was the same case with Phase 1 of the MCU as well. All these different storylines were like, they weren't connected much and they were only connected through the post-credit scene. And Phase 4 does seem the least connected with each other.
It's a stepping stone.
Yeah, in terms of projects. I'm hoping Phase 5 and 6 is where most of the connections are going to come through.
The only logical step from talking about the first movie of the Multiverse Saga of Phase 5 is to just jump all the way to Phase 6 and talk about the Avengers movies that are coming out. Only logical step, right? So let's do that. Let's talk about the very end of the Multiverse Saga. The Avengers movies, the two Avengers movies actually that are coming in within 6 months of each other. That VFX team better be making millions. Like, yeah. I mean, those poor guys. if anyone in the audience knows what the Kang Dynasty comic arc is, it's basically where we see Kang the Conqueror face off against the Avengers, trying to, as his name suggests, conquer Earth. It is one of the longest comic arcs in Marvel. Also a little worried to see how they're going to bring it to the big screen in one movie too. Now, obviously, it's not just one movie. It's all the buildup that they have done. Movies like Ant-Man, where we'll see Kang for the first time. Loki season 2, maybe we'll see a little bit more about Kang. So I'm sure there is going to be some buildup to it. That being said, when it came to Infinity War, for example, that was the first ever time we actually saw Thanos do anything besides sit in his chair. You know, it's not like it's impossible to see very little of a villain and still fear them and then just see them in their big movie. It's happened before in Marvel and it worked. But, you know, I definitely think there will be quite a bit of buildup.
What I am concerned about is if they rush things, because the writing in some of the Phase 4 shows has been spotty. I hope that by the time we actually get to Kang's 2 movies, that we get a pretty decently fleshed out character that we can respect and we can fear.
We obviously know that Kang does already have some sort of connection to the multiverse. What with He Who Remains being the one trying to keep the one single true timeline together until eventually the end of Loki. Season 1, we see that all just break apart, which still, okay, to this day, still confuses me a little bit because Marvel constantly seems to mix up what a timeline and a universe is and just sort of use them interchangeably. I can see Nick, the physics student, nodding. So hopefully, like Nick said, this phase, these 2 phases will explain a little bit more about that. We'll learn more about what that means, or maybe they'll have a better idea of what it means by then as well. I don't know how they're going to move from the Kang Dynasty straight to Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
It's happening within 6 months of each other, right? So does that mean that the end of Kang Dynasty has to be not so impactful? Or is it going to be like a Infinity War Endgame sort of thing where, you know, it's a continuation, which isn't really how it is in the comics. They're just kind of 2 separate entities there, with the Kang Dynasty being about Kang the Conqueror and Secret Wars being about 2 Marvel universes colliding into each other.
There's also 2 more projects in between the Avengers movies. I think they could be able to use that to somehow bridge those 2 movies together if the gap of the storylines is bit unconnectable.
These storylines need a sort of Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron kind of break between them because they just don't feel connected enough comics wise. Secret Wars, the main villain is literally Doctor Doom. Which for one thing we haven't even seen in the MCU yet. Hopefully he'll be introduced at some point now that we know mutants are in the MCU. Given
the time frame that they've set for these 2 movies, I think there's no doubt that they're going to be connected to each other. Yeah. Probably the first of the 2 will end with them defeating some sort of villain, but then some other threat is going to appear at the very end. I mean, it could even just be another variant of Kang, like maybe they kill 1, 15 more appear.
Fantastic Four is also happening in Phase 6, so that could, like, maybe a post-credit scene kind of could set up to Doctor Doom somehow, or the other unnamed projects in Season 6, not Season 6, Phase 6, can somehow allude to Doctor Doom being in Secret Wars somehow.
Overall, I'm excited to see what Marvel brings out in phases 5 and 6, and as we mentioned many times, I hope it becomes more cohesive, and I hope it sort of ties everything together. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure they'll find a way to do that. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Follow Nick on Instagram. His Instagram is below. Subscribe and like and comment and follow us on our socials.